The Summer Legends Shootout Series is back, and it's better than ever. This season, you can expect more great action. All the big-name stars, and just some plain old good times. The world's nuttiest mascot is back as well with some more crazy stunts. And don't you worry, because Wrecker Boy is on the way. The Summer Legends Shootout Series is next on Sports South.
We're set to drop the first green flag on the Summer Legends Shootout Series. So that, of course, means that summer is upon us. Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Shaheen. Welcome to the Summer Legends Shootout Series, the first Tuesday of a 10-week stretch. Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, right here on Sports South. Great Legends car racing for you. Once again, this is the Summer Legends Shootout Series. You know, it's been 3 years now that we've been coming out here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, setting up our studios and going racing with you on Tuesday nights. It's kind of hard to believe it's been that long, but it has really developed into quite a racing.
Greater and greater to perform, whereas guys used to be allowed, 2 years to mature. Now everybody wants instant gratification. You're not being allowed that luxury anymore.
Well, if you want an instant smile, all you got to do is step on the throttle of a Legends car. In the first division we're going to have for you, the Chargers. As you take a look at the lineup, Brian Gandy and Greg Lawrence on row 1. Rick Bass, the brother of racing artist Sam Bass, in car number 92, along with Kurt Andrews in row number 2. As you look back through the field of Chargers division drivers, these are basically rookies, guys that are learning how to go Legends car racing. We have semi-pro, we have pro, and we have the Masters division. Semi-pro is a little bit more advanced than the Chargers division. The pros are the best, and the Masters are for guys 40 and over.
And you'll see some really good competition when we get up into Masters Pro and Semi-Pro, and a lot of those guys that'll be racing in those upper divisions started right here in the Chargers division. Basically your rookie class. Now if you win 3 Charger main events, you are required to move up into another division.
Here's a look at those divisions right there. Novice for the Chargers, age 40 and over, of course, Masters, the intermediates, the semi-pro, the advanced, the big boys in the pro division.
Pretty well lines it up.
Too.
And they've been going with that FJ 1200cc Yamaha engine for quite some time, just like you get on a 1200cc Yamaha motorcycle right out of the shop. And 5/8 scale cars based on late model 30 and 40 models.
Let's drop down to Mark Garrow, who's got a bit of news about that car.
The race cars aren't the only ones with high power. There's also people with high power behind the wheel. Harvey Schiller will drive number 1 in this race. He's the former president of the U.S. Olympic Committee and the president of Turner Sports. He's been practicing all afternoon. Now it's time to see how well he can do in the race.
The green flag is out, and we're already through 1 and 2 as everybody gets into those 1200cc Yamaha motors. And they'll try to sort themselves out by the time they get down to turn 3. The 9 car of Brian Gandy jumping out into the lead. Kurt Andrews right behind him, and Rick Bass, who's gotten a lot better. We got problems down in turns 1 and 2. That'll bring up the yellow. Here you see the 28 car, and that's actually the 28P.
Yeah,
that is a car Perry Smith. Yeah. And that 28 isn't going very well.
No, a little toe out on the right front for Charles Guest. And Charles's night's going to end very, very quickly. Not the way you want to kick your season off here in the Summer Legends Shootout Series.
And the 95 of Greg Lawrence letting him know. Mark?
There are 125 cars here, Ralph. You know, you talked about earlier tonight, this is the biggest field we've ever seen for the opening of the Shootout Series. This is the biggest number of cars here ever, 125 cars. They've even had to run consolation races for the semi-pro division, and some of those drivers did not make the field. 7 or 8 cars in that division had to go home without making the feature event tonight. Again, showing just how competitive and how many cars are out there when it comes to Legends race cars, especially when they get a chance to race here at Charlotte. We're getting set to go back to green.
You talk to any of the drivers down in the pit area, and every single one of them will tell you the Summer Legends Shootout Series, as far as Legends cars racing goes, is as big as it gets. The best of the best come here because you're racing on live TV and you're at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's as prestigious event as you can get, and to win this series is big to these guys. And that's why everybody, like car number 2, Chuck Orr, is laying it all out on the line here tonight as we go back to racing in the Charger division.
Now, as we watch these Charger cars, for the most part, you're seeing
problems in 3. You saw it develop.
Yeah, that looks like Chuck Orr Jr. and maybe Steve Brzezinski.
Yeah. You saw him as they were going down the back straightaway. The 17B of Brzezinski just went in too deep, Doug. Look, you can see him losing.
Yeah, and you got to feel for Chuck Orr Jr. there. He was just the victim there because the 17 comes up, taps him on the rear bumper, gets him out of shape, and turns him around.
There's Brzezinski's car. Looks like it's rolling, but he might be pulling off.
I thought about it, so well, maybe I can stay out for one more go. Good-looking car there. What I was going to say there before the spin, this is the first time we've had a look at a lot of these drivers in here because a lot of last year's Chargers have already graduated up to semi-pro or masters, and so this is practically a whole new class. And in that report Mark Garrow was talking about, some of the guys basically had to go home tonight. Ralph, I think in the 3 years now that we've done the Summer Legends Shootout Series, this is the first time we've ever had guys go home without making the features.
And definitely, not only did he win the championship, but he did it in fine fashion. He was there night in and night out in the semi-pro division. One of the toughest cars to come out of that class, and he certainly will be a force to be reckoned with in the pro division. Just a question of how quickly he adjusts to that level of racing.
He's a very smooth driver, gets around the track nicely.
Every Tuesday night, right here, live on Sports South at 8 o'clock, we'll be with you. Our second round comes next Tuesday, June 18th. Of course, the Grand Americans will be back with us, but take a look who's in the Home Depot Challenge. Brett Bodine and Jeff Gordon, the reigning Winston champ, coming here. The Atlanta Braves and New York Mets will go at it tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern time here on Sports South. Also, catch the Honda Braves report at 7.
He left out world champion.
I'm not going to go there, Rice. It's too early in the season, and my Giants and my A's are both going down the drain. Racing and problems in turn 1.
That's the 27 of Randy Crowder. He backs it into the grass there and gets out of harm's way, and a couple of other cars have scattered. 32 of Roger Neal.
Well, take a look at the 84 and where he is sitting. That's Brian Lee, and Brian's getting a real good view of the racing action. Probably a better view than he's hoping for.
Not exactly what he would pay for there. That's Brian Lee. He's from right there in Harrisburg, North Carolina, just on the other side of the speedway here.
Man, you know he's working that ignition too. He is trying to get that thing fired up. Okay, now they find debris in the racetrack. Not that Brian be debris.
That may be part of his car there. I don't think he's going to be able to salvage that fender.
Well, the 27 found the debris one way or the other, Randy Crowder. Here's a look at what happened over in turn 1. That's Crowder sliding off there, isn't it?
The 27, I believe, is Crowder that backed it up into the grass.
And there's Lee right in there getting hit, getting his fender ripped off. Wow, that was big.
He got airborne there.
Well, you know, Crowder hit him, then he went back and he ran over the debris again. He was really going to let him know.
Real fortunate there for Randy Crowder, because as he went backwards off into the grass, he almost got collected again, and a couple of guys were able to get around him, including the 32 there of Roger Neal.
That's probably the first time in Brian Lee's life he was really thrilled to see a yellow come out.
I imagine he was relieved also. Now, it will be curious to watch the progress of the Chargers series. We've seen quite a few yellows already in this race tonight, and it's been a little ragged. I bet you when we get 5 races deep into the season, Ralph, we'll see a lot more consistency, and these guys will be a little bit more under control. I think also probably adrenaline tonight. They've, kind of been dormant throughout the winter. They're kind of pumped up here to go racing on TV tonight.
I know the adrenaline's definitely running because you're a little rough tonight.
A little rough? No, I think I ran off the road there.
I'm just kidding. No, actually, you're exactly right. The adrenaline is flowing hard in these guys. Down in the pit area before the racing began, everybody was really excited. Everybody's spent a lot of time polishing up their cars, holding off on debuting new cars until here. It is, again, it's hard to describe it because Legends cars are not Winston Cup. It's not Daytona as far as the season opener goes for that. But in the world of Legends car racing, to them, it is Daytona. And we're backing away with 12 laps to go.
See if we can get him spread out. There's
take a look at the 92, Doug. That is Rick Bass, and he has really done a tremendous job. He's running in 3rd, maybe going to slip to 4th. He has had that Ice House car in the thick of things all night tonight. He ran in this division last year and really had some trouble, but it shows you what seat time will do, and it's exactly what the Charger division is supposed to do. Here Rick is now, he qualified in the top 2 rows, and he's running just outside the top 5 at this point.
And he's running a lot more under control than he ever did last year. He really struggled to keep that car under control, and this year, I mean, you can just watch him go through the turns here. He's under control. He knows what he's doing with the race car. That doesn't mean he's going to win every week, but that's what the Charger division's all about. We got a couple off the course there in turn 4.
Yeah, big smoky brakes going into the turn, but everybody was okay. That's the 232 cars. That is Roger Neal and Steve Thompson sitting down there. Roger Neal's in the white and red. Well, guess what? Yellow's out. So we're going to take a quick break and come back right after this to more Summer Legends Shootout Series.
When you're in Atlanta.
So Steve Thompson on the big yellow hook as we clear off the 232 machines of Steve Thompson, the yellow and white car, and Roger Neal. And this was a little device they developed.
Yep, just for the Legends cars. The Tommy hook here, and not where you want to be. Steve Thompson, a.k.a. the Chicken Man, is on the hook. The only guy that runs with a rubber chicken in his car. I'd throw that thing out after tonight. That'd give me another good luck charm.
Yeah, but don't open the door just yet. Mark Garrow is standing by with the pole sitter for the semi-pro race, which is coming up shortly after the chicken leaves the racetrack.
Consecutively, Nick Pistone is looking for tonight.
We're back to green with the Charger division. Tiger Tom Pistone, of course, is his grandfather. Now, Tiger Tom is big when it comes to tuning up Legends cars and taking care of them. And he also, by the way, takes care of that car, the red car, the number 9 of Brian Gandy, who is leading here in our Charger division. And what Nick was noting there was that they came out, ran their first race and won here and had their engine claimed right away. There is a claiming rule. And the engine checked out okay. So the Pistones have found a pretty good setup for balancing a Legends car. And it really comes down to, I think, more the balance of the car than it does the engines anyway, because they're already overpowered and under-tired. BF Goodrich Comptiers are the tire that you have to run. It is a spec tire, but it was chosen by design as you watch Rick Bass continuing to move back up into the top 5. But it was chosen because they want it that way. They want to overpower the tire and make it a driver's series.
Yeah, the cars have a lot more horsepower than they actually need. We talked a lot about that. As they get together here, 2 or 3 of them get together. Sean Parker in the 99.7 car, WRFX car, slides to the outside as he's in there battling with the 42 of Brian Doby.
And Dr. Harvey Schiller in the 1 getting a quick lesson on Legends cars as he's watched all of them go flying past. The 7 of Jacob Butner in there.
There's Sean Parker in the 99.7 machine.
Yeah, boy, that's a good battle.
And you get a look at Kirk Hansen there in the sort of spider web motif car. And there's our leaders.
The white flag is out. Gandy continues to lead.
Kurt Andrews riding in 2nd now.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Dr. Harvey Schiller is in that red car with the 16 of Todd Hall. They're stopped over in turn 2. Gandy's going to come off before and win it. and does so. So the Pistone gang gets 1 win already. Pistone Posse, how about that?
I like it.
Pistone Posse of about 5 cars as we stack them up down there in turn 2. So Gandy gets the first win of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. And there's Tiger Tom walking over to talk to his driver. Well, we're ready to go right up with the semi-pro division. They're set to go. Here's a look at the feature results for the Chargers. Gandy, Andrews, Sossaman, Bass, and Smith.
Kurt Andrews finished in second, nicknamed Fabio. We got to get him on camera with a nickname like that.
Okay. And in the semi-pro division, set to roll off. There they are. They're ready to go, and as soon as they get the command, they'll roll out. Well, the Pistone Posse. Can they do it again? Nicky Pistone set to go with Jason Austin right alongside of him. As we take a look back through the rest of the field, Mike Bias and E.B. Jackson. There's Ricky Hendrick. That is the son of Rick Hendrick. Wayne Austin, seen him a lot out here. Timothy Peters in car 77, a youngster who showed great potential last year. We expect big things out of him here this year. Greg Herlocker in car 18. Jerry Dickerson back with us. And rounding out the field, Tommy Gainey and John Freeman, who, boy, he's done a lot of good things. I'm really surprised to see him that far back as we take a look at the points now from last year.
Him and Jerry Dickerson both way back in the field as we'll take a look at the point standings from 1995 for semi-pro. Ronnie Austin, of course, he's graduated up. John Freeman, who will be starting near the shotgun position. Bill Jarvis, Hoyt Davis, Jimmy Sides. Pretty good competition in this one last year. Only 8 points separating the champion and the runner-up.
So it has not been a smooth night for John Freeman, who finished second in the points. He'll be starting way in the back of the field here as he kicks off the 96 campaign of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. There is the Legends pace car out front, sponsored by Sports Design.
Now that's Hank Jones. Hank Jones is sort of becoming the Rick Hendrick of Legends car racing, isn't he, Ralph?
Well, he sure is, with great sponsorship from Valvoline, Sports Design, and Mojo Markets on his car. And now he's hooked up with Buckmaster and Realtree and Doc Brewer as a teammate, and he's involved with Mike White, who is the big dog in the Masters division. Hank is really taking the Legends Series by storm.
Well, if you're going to sign up the guys, go out and get the big ones. Go out and do it right.
And we're about to go green once again, this time with the semi-pro division live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Oh, lots of banging in turn 1. And one car not going to get through. Clay Watts.
We get a breakaway here. We get another one spinning around. A couple of them up on 2 wheels.
Yeah, the 18 car. Greg Herlocker got up in the air. There's Greg.
Just got to expect this kind of thing to happen on the first races of the year.
That was actually Carol Edwards in the 1RC. The RC is so small.
Was that Racer Carol that spun around here?
Yeah, I think so. Looks like it. Here's the second one down at turn 3. Right in the back there, you see the blue 43 go around. And right there goes the car up in the air. That is Herlocker. That's Mark Doby in that 43. And we've got another one stopped, the 11 VA, Butch Hamlet. And the 11, that of Tommy Gainey. Yeah.
Good looking car there. That's the other thing I noticed, Ralph, aside from the fact that a lot of them have bought bigger trailers so they can haul their backup cars to the racetrack now. They have much more elaborate paint schemes, and they're spending a lot of time and effort to make these cars look very attractive. I think part of it's because they know they're going to show up on television.
Yeah, and as we said, a lot of teams waited to debut those new paint schemes this weekend. Some of these Legends car drivers can compete a handful of nights out of the week if you run a bunch in the region. And some of these guys know that they're going to be involved in some bumping incidents at different racetracks, so they waited to debut their brand new paint schemes here tonight.
And of course, some of them towed from a pretty good ways off. There's cars here from West Virginia tonight and from Ohio and from all over the Southeast, and of course here in the Charlotte and Concord area. Let's go back down to Mark Garrow.
A little bit of a note on Ricky Hendrick. He's having a tough night tonight, but they put together a new team for the Legends Car Series. He's also going to be running, I believe, some late model stock cars. And the man heading up his team is a guy by the name of Frank Edwards. How far does he go back with Rick Hendrick? Well, Papa Joe Hendrick had this man help Rick Hendrick put together his first hot rod, his first race car. And over the years at Hendrick Motorsports, he's worked with the likes of Tim Richmond and some of the other drivers they've had there. And now he's going to turn the wrenches this summer for Ricky Hendrick on the Legends Car Series here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and also develop him on the late model stock circuit as well. So it should be a busy summer for both of those two here in and around the Charlotte area. Back upstairs.
And you saw Quaker State and the Sandwich Construction Company on the back of Ricky's car, and the Sandwich is also involved with one of the Petty boys. So we'll be seeing one of Kyle's kids out here hopefully later this summer.
Well, we saw Adam Petty out here a couple of times last year, and we saw Justin Labonte running the Baby Grands today.
And there's Hamlet spinning in the 11. See what happened to him. Looks like he just lost it. Got it into the weeds and chewed up some of the grass.
So the 11V back on the course now.
See the 43 there, the Dobie car? If we can capture a look at that. The Dobies, the two brothers are here, and they have paint schemes exactly like the Petty machines. One is painted up like Kyle's race car, and one of them is painted up like Richard's old race car.
Now there's the 59 we're looking at of Nick Pistone.
Dobie's big fans of Petty's. We saw a lot of Winston Cup paint schemes in the garage area tonight. Green flag back and waving. Mike Bias in that 7. Looking to move by the 44 now to pick up a position. Wayne Austin talked his name a lot last year. Trying to, and some bumping going on in the 7-Eleven car into the grass. Mike Bias has problems. Talk about a great paint scheme.
Chatted with Mike for a good while. He races up at Ona, West Virginia, and this is only, I think this is only like his 6th ever Legends car race tonight.
Wayne Austin running back in 3rd, chasing the 59 of Nick Pistone. So that Pistone posse really looking strong here in the season opener for the Summer Legends Shootout Series.
Well, they have an advantage. I mean, that they work together and that they're experts on setting these cars up, and like you said, Ralph, getting the balance right. And they got pretty good drivers in all their cars.
Well, and there's about 6 drivers on that team. So when you start sharing information about how different setups affect the handling of the car, it just increases your knowledge base so much quicker. And obviously it's working, because it doesn't look necessarily, Doug, like it's a horsepower advantage so much as he's getting through the turns so well. No push and no loose problems.
Back here in battle for 5th place with the 49. Now this is a car that we saw race here a lot last year. Freddie Lancaster.
And Dwayne Marshall in the 00 out of Lynchburg, Virginia, running with it.
Dwayne running a good line there. Now that's a good look there, how you're supposed to get into the turns here and then throttle up out of them as we go back up front.
Look how smooth that car comes off the turn, so straight. That's really hard to do. Most of the other drivers are having to compensate either on the entry or the exit of the turn, and it looks like Nick Pistone is just sailing right through it.
Of course, Nick won the Winter Shootout Series over at Concord Speedway. He was one of the top runners over there, and they ran in some pretty cold weather this year. Nick was really tough over there. That's located about 15 miles from here. They got a smaller track. They don't run on the big track at Concord. A lot of these guys spent their winter over there kind of fine-tuning their cars.
This is a flat quarter-mile that they've cut into the front tri-oval area here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Problems on the front stretch could pose a problem for these two as they come across the start-finish line. There you see that red and white car getting back underway.
The 44 moving to the inside there is Wayne Austin. And
oh, he's going to get him, Doug. He's got the advantage because the lap car might be getting in the way. He's going to get him out of the way, isn't he?
That lap car is really setting a nice pick for him if he can take advantage of it.
He He's got it. They're going to try to go 3 wide into 1. That usually doesn't work.
Worked that time. Wes Wheeler had really held his line and forced the other 2 cars to drive around him, and Wayne Austin drives in the second.
Wayne did a great job of using that as a pick and taking advantage of it. He used the chrome horn a little bit, but you have your own rules about the chrome horn.
We've stated this before. You know, as long as you're not hooking a guy and deliberately turning him around, if you can just let him know you're back there, it's okay. That's why they got bumpers on them.
Good old Saturday night short track racing on a Tuesday live on Sports South. This is the way we do it here. 5 laps to go with Nick Pistone, as the Pistone posse is making a statement here in the early goings of round 1 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. 2 races will be completed here in about 4 laps, and it looks like they will have racked up 2 wins. And that's a look at third as he tries to check Justin Snow, trying to catch up to Wayne Austin.
I don't believe he's going to do it. I think Wayne's got the line that he wants right now. He can just kind of hold it there. Justin Snow trailing a lot of smoke. I don't know if that was brake smoke or what, but in the wrong part of the racetrack.
Problems in turns 3 and 4 as we got a couple of cars around. That smoke, Doug, has been coming out of the car right along. I don't think he's too worried about it. It might be just a fluid dripping down onto some hot metal somewhere. There's that mess cleaned up over there.
Boy, that we had a car go out right in front of our leader. Nick Pistone is going to ride right under Randy Humphrey this time and get around him. Of course, Pistone, a former world champion go-karter.
He'll be taking the white flag this time by the starter stand. 1 more lap around the quarter-mile Legends track here in Charlotte, and the Pistone posse will have claimed their 2nd win. His motor was claimed after his 1st win of the season, and now he is making a statement again. Take my motor, I'll still take the checkered flag. As Nick Pistone, as the semi-pro division win goes to him. Wayne Austin in car 44 will pick up 2nd. Well, we'll be back to talk to one of the ringleaders of the Pistone posse, who has claimed his 1st checkered flag in the Summer Legends Shootout Series on Sports South. Tiger, once again, in victory lane.
Hi, race fans. Welcome to a rare opportunity to see what happens at a NASCAR drivers meeting.
I'm going for the big prize this season.
All right, a $500 shopping spree right here at Food Line.
No way.
Don't miss your chance to win in the NASCAR $20 million Superfan Challenge, including a Richard Petty Edition motorhome from Winnebago and a $10,000 credit from MasterCard. So, Terry, what's your strategy to win?
Eli, I'm going to draft today.
There you have it, fans. Play the NASCAR Superfan Challenge today.
Only at Food Line, the official supermarket of NASCAR.
There's a look at the semi-pro feature results. Nick Pistone of that Pistone posse gets his 1st win. Wayne Austin, Justin Snow, and Jason Austin coming home in the top 4. And Timothy Peters, we expect good things out of him this summer. He started off on the right foot and rounding out the top 5. Car 77. Well, Mark, this Pistone posse is coming on. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. That is the press box high above the lights that you're looking at where it's all lit up. That's our vantage point for the night. There goes Bogey Boy doing his good deed of the week as he gives Mom Nemechek a ride with son's helmet in hands. Hi, Mark. Nice to see you.
Be careful there, Mark.
Yeah, be careful. Put both hands on the wheel. You're not nearly as good as Chris or Nemechek, or Doug for that matter. That's where we are, way up there. Wave, Doug. Your mom's watching.
Oh.
There's Doug.
There you go. Yeah, I think she paid the cable bill this week. So
and there's the rest of the gang up here in the Speedway Club.
got a lot of folks that are members of the Speedway Club up here tonight, dining with us. I think that's a nice vantage point, though. And, of course, this is where the media normally watches races like the Winston Selector Coca-Cola 600.
And the starting grid comes up for our next event, the Pro Division. Well, look what's on the pole. Tom Pistone III, that Pistone posse. Can they make it 3 in a row? Well, Doc Brewer, that comes out of Hank Jones's gang. You have to come up with a name for him, too, before it's all over. Greg Schultz in that 32 is real strong.
Just did it.
Brian Sockwell in the 4U is a name that has been running out here at the Summer Legends Series as long as we've been televising it, but he has not been in the cockpit of a Legends car for quite a while this season. He's been spending a lot of time running his new NASCAR Dash car.
Yeah, I saw him run down at, I saw the season opener, I believe, down at Miami, and he ran pretty well down there until he ran into a few little problems.
And Daryl Jackson will round out the field back in row 12 all by himself. Here's a look at the points from last year. G.E. Chapman was the big winner. Schultz right behind him.
There's Brian Sockwell that you're talking about. Chuck DeFar, who rounded out the top 5 last year in the pro division from 1995. Of course, that's all history now, and they'll start carving their way to new championships tonight here in our first round of the Summer Legends Shootout.
There's the champ right there. G.E. Chapman. Should change it to Champman for the season.
Ooh, good one.
I like that. Well, practice.
I was going to go to G.E. brings good things to the track, but no.
One more to the green.
It's not soon enough.
That's exactly right. G.E. Chapman in car 29. And there's that Pistone car, the yellow taxi.
Hard to miss that entry, and that car led a lot of laps here last year.
Looking to do the same thing here tonight. The Masters division will close out our evening. That'll be coming up right after this feature for the Pro Division cars at a big jump. Leaves Pistone hanging. Can he get back to the front by the time they get to 1? No.
He got ambushed on the start there.
We got some problems in turn 2. 3 cars go sliding off. Thought we were going to be tasting some concrete over there, but everybody stops before the wall.
There's another one of those Winston Cup paint schemes you were talking about on the Ed Brown car. Looks just like Rusty Wallace's machine.
He was one of the ones that went up close to the wall. The 4 is your leader. That car belongs to Tony Hamby. And here comes Pistone to the inside to retake the lead.
Well, you didn't think Pistone would hang around back there in second very long. I mean, as we've kind of documented, as you said, the Pistone posse, they're hooked up and they all work together. And I mean, it's truly a team effort to see. So everybody helps everybody else here, and they're already working lap traffic here.
Well, they've been calling it Sweeps Week around the world in professional sports. The Colorado Avalanche sweeping the Stanley Cup. It looks like the Bulls are about to sweep the NBA Finals. Can the Pistone posse sweep the opening night of the Summer Legends Shootout Series? It'll be the first time that I can remember any team, quote unquote, sweeping all 4 divisions.
I think you're safe. I don't even think we have to go to a historian there to see it. And here's a little entanglement we had earlier on. That's
Schultz in that 32B. That was a different colored car last year, red with white lettering, if I remember correctly. And that was a fight for third as you go back up front with your leader, Tom Pistone the third, right out of Charlotte.
The 59 SR from Charlotte, the taxi cab entry. And right now, I think he's paid up in full and driving away from the 4 of Tony Hamby.
And I believe Tommy Raitt in the 04, also sporting a new paint scheme, runs along in third.
And then you can see all the little stickers that were running back down the secondary window on the car there. Those are all little victory stickers, a lot like the emblems the fighter pilots used to put on their planes back in World War II. And they win a feature event. You can get a look at them there. They put that sticker on there that shows that they've won a feature race. Good look at the Tommy Raitt machine. We talked earlier, so many of the guys have got new paint schemes and new looks. And Ralph, there's hardly a car out here that doesn't carry some kind of sponsorship tonight. And I think that's a real testament to the Legend cars. I think part of it's because they get to show up on television. And Tommy Pistone got really loose. Rear end pushed out on him coming out of turn 4 that last time down. And that's allowed the second place car of Tony Hamby to close right up on him.
There's the 28 car of Rob Anderson. Now, Rob Anderson, who you can see has gotten a lot of feature wins of his own, was in the midst of a big fight. Or is that the 28 NC? I believe that was a 28 NC of Clay Hare. See if we get a tight shot of that car again.
Clay just announced tonight he got a brand new sponsor. Yeah. Diamond Ridge is going to come on and sponsor his car. Gary Bechtel is going to underwrite his operations.
That is Clay. Clay is a former IHRA world champion drag racer who has made his way over to the Legends Series. And he's heavily involved in Mark Colley's deal over in Nashville. Mark, the big country music star, has been doing some Legends racing with a bunch of friends over the Nashville Motor Speedway. And Clay has a lot to do with that. Let's go back down to Mark Arrow with Doug Vandenbrink, another one of the big names here tonight.
Well, Doug is supposed to be in this race. He finished third in his heat event earlier tonight. Why are you not in this race?
Well, we put a Wayne Sharp, a driver that raced in the Pro Division, got hurt last year, and they put a safety bar on the driver's left to keep the cars from coming inside. And during the wintertime, we put one on the left side and in the right side for the same reason, to keep cars from coming out and hurting me. They saw that in tech, and they viewed that as a performance advantage, and we had no intention of making a performance advantage. Our WSOC Team Chevrolet was running real good tonight, and we simply put that in the car to keep me safe and to keep myself from being hurt. And unfortunately, there's a tech official over there that is very good about knowing if things are performance minded, and he said no, but unfortunately the people of the powers that be have said that it's a performance advantage or they need to look at it. So, you know, it's a shame because we were running real good, and it's a safety thing.
All right, let's go back to the race, guys.
So Brian's, we got a new leader here, car number 4, Tony Hamby, taking the lead away from Pistone.
They got a good jump on the restart. Pistone slid out a little bit. Hamby was able to get around him. Now here comes Tommy Rape up to challenge Tommy Pistone.
And the white car back in there is G.E. Chapman, the champ, sits back in 5th. Make that 6th. He has really worked his way up through the field, and that yellow helped. Oh, and there he is. Oh, and he's going to get tapped from both ends.
He caught the car in front of him and then got kind of kinked out of shape. I believe that might be Jeff Craig riding in front of him here.
Halfway home, the cross flags in the starter's hand, and Pistone now trying to sneak inside as they go down into turn number 3. And it's going to go for him right there, because it looks like the 54 of George Potter is going to slow up Hamby on the outside.
Hamby just picked the wrong way. He went wide. He should have tried to go underneath, and he went wide trying to get around Potter, and that's what cost him. You take a look at it here on the replay. Right there, that decision at that moment cost him the spot, because that sets up Pistone to come underneath.
Well, he has bounced back pretty well as he has gotten back out front of our leaders. We're going to take a look at that other replay. Hamby has reestablished himself as the leader.
That's Tommy Rape here on the point in a 0-4.
Right, I'm getting them all mixed up here.
Tommy Pistone dogging him, though. Look at that car stick down on the bottom.
It looks like Hamby, actually, Doug, has fallen all the way back to about 5th. So the 4 is all the way back to 5th, just behind the champ. There's the 01 out of it, Eddie Baldwin.
That's Eddie Baldwin. He's out of Claremont, North Carolina.
He's over turn 3.
Almost got one of our TV stand there. He's right at the base of the scissor lift for the TV stand.
Bottom of Yaman over there.
I would ask for hazardous duty pay. I probably wouldn't get it.
No. Okay. Jack Kupata about to go down a lap in the 10 car, the Husqvarna backed entry. Some bumping going on in the battle for 3rd. G.E. Chapman really coming on hard. Look at the champ.
Yep, G. Going to move up, get under Jeff Craig now here as he passes the 99 machine, the red 99 machine to Jeff Craig. G takes him.
Remember, you're watching the Pro Division. These are considered to be the best drivers, no matter their age, in Legends Car Racing here in the Summer Legends Shootout Series. G.E. Chapman runs in 3rd, the 1995 Summer Legends Shootout Series champ. He is putting it to the Rape entry right now.
Tommy Rape, though, is going after Tom Pistone the 3rd. He's not really letting him drive away here.
Oh, there is some hammering going on there with Jeff Craig.
And we saw for a brief second there, Hamby sneaking back up into the top 5 here. He was the leader, but then he gave that up a moment ago. Looks like the 0-4 may come off the turns better, but Tommy Pistone gets into him a little bit better.
He's getting in there real well. He's running it in awfully deep. 2 laps to go. This will be 3 for 3 for the Pistone posse.
Going for the clean sweep here tonight. They got a lap and a half to go to make it stick.
This could be a long season for the rest of the Legends competitors. We'll see if they can make it 4 in a row when we come back as the white flag comes out for our Masters Division race, which will cap off our evening here in the season opener for the Summer Legends Shootout Series. Tom Pistone III, as you watch the battle for second, comes off the 4 to make it 3 in a row for the Pistone Posse here tonight at the season opener. Lots to celebrate as we light the lamp on the yellow cab, which means, of course, we've got a winner. Coming back right after this. Here, the Summer Legends Shootout Series on Sports South. Tom Pistone is your winner. The champ, G.E. Chapman, comes home in third. And John Crow, we didn't get to talk too much about him tonight, but the standout from the Hooters Series and a lot of late model action around the country, he finished Legends Summer Shootout Series season opener. Punchy Whitaker. Well, you were wondering if there was another Pistone Posse car. It is. Punchy's a Pistone Posse member.
Punchy runs a local tire dealership just up the road here from the Speedway.
But he is not going to have an easy night of it as you take a look at some of the other names. There's Hank Jones. We talked about Hank and that Valvoline Sports Design Bojo Markets backed entry. That is probably the ringleader of one of the teams that's looking to knock out this Pistone Posse, and he's got Mike White with him in this group, which could very easily do that.
Gotta like Mike White when you get into these Masters races. It doesn't matter where he starts, he's usually able to overcome any kind of adversity and just drive right to the front. And he was dominant last year.
Here's a look at the points, which will show you how dominant he was. 5 points better than Danny Bost, who is no longer racing with us here in the Summer Legends Shootout Series. Instead, Danny Bost has moved on and bought himself a late model. James Hines, however, is here with us again.
James Jackson's back.
Yeah, James will start right alongside of Mike White. And boy, they've had some thrilling finishes. As you saw in the highlights earlier tonight, James and Mike got together coming off 4 one night. Mike got backwards, and Mike White won that race as well as the Masters Championship in '95.
And you can see Mike there. Mike said he's had a few health problems. His back, he's got a couple of bulging disc, and he's going to have some work done probably at the end of the race season. He said he's not been comfortable in the race car, but he said that a few times last year and went on to win big.
Green flag. Oh, Hank Jones goes spinning into the infield in the 6. And everybody else continues on as Punchy Whitaker, excuse me, Doug, takes the lead.
Yeah, Punchy got a good jump there on the Hines machine and pulled out to the lead. Of course, you looked at Hank Jones there in the 6. He handles the souvenirs for, guess who, Mark Martin and the Roush teams.
All right. Ted Musgrave and Jeff Burt. There's Mike White in that 7, battling with the 33W, Bill Irwin.
It's James Hines up there in the 11, and that's a sight you don't see too often, the number 7 getting past.
Oh, and look at, Mike White goes hard on the brakes as he goes sliding off course. That is really going to hurt him, but the yellow comes out.
Well, that could save him, possibly giving him a good finish here. They may let him get his starting spot back as Mike's back on course in the silver Bullet car.
He was going after Mickey Lawson there. Watch what happens. There's Mickey in the 1. Mike knew he was going too fast, didn't he?
Mike went, I think he just went into the turn a little too hot there. He locked it up. You could see him get on the brake pretty early on, and he just barely missed 52-year-old Mickey Lawson in the 1 machine there. Mickey was the '95 BF Goodrich Road Course champion for Legend Cars.
Well, Mark has caught up with some of the guys who finished 2nd and 3rd. Flag about set to come back out here on our Masters Division race as we restart him on lap 3. Punchy Whitaker holds on to the lead over James Hines and Mickey Lawson.
We have full fields in every one of the categories tonight, and you win one of these tonight, you have beaten a lot of competition.
Bill Irwin and Mike White battling it out for 4th position. And The green car of Bray Carey runs in 6th. As this battle is really good, Doug.
Sneaked up under Mike White. Mike's car not working like it normally does, and now he's going to take a look back to the inside of Bill Irwin.
They used a blind draw to decide starting positions here tonight, and as of next week, they'll be using a handicap system to decide the starting lineups for all the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series events.
I think what they're going to try to do is let some of the guys that have slower cars maybe start toward the front and not be relegated to the back, make it a little more interesting. There's Bill Irwin in the 33, Mike White in the 7.
He's doing a great job of holding off one of the toughest competitors in any one of the 4 Legends car divisions. If you can hold off Mike White for this many laps, you're working.
You earned your money's worth tonight. Bill doing a great job there as they dive down into what's turn number 1. Mike tapped him and now works to the inside.
Fords and Chevys are what you see here racing in the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series, but in just a few weeks, they're going to debut a couple of Dodge model Legends cars, 37 Dodge Coupe and 37 Dodge Sedan, so we'll be looking forward to seeing those out here tonight.
They've had a lot of demands from people, and we had a car go right across the racetrack in front of the leaders.
Steve Tiders.
Punchy Whitaker and James Hines, and Hines working all over that rear bumper of Punchy there.
That Pistone Posse looking for their 4th win of the evening, and Punchy doing a great job holding off Hines, and James Hines is not afraid to use the Doug Rice school of chrome horn.
He will. He'll put that chrome horn to you. He'll try to move you out of the way. You just can't quite get close enough
to
Punchy right now.
Don't hook him horn. Just push him. Push him horn. No, it doesn't have to fit the ring to it, does it?
No.
Pushing Punchy, though, is the way to go for James Hines. He's got some other traffic to deal with, including Dave Sondless in that under 13 car.
I'll tell you, look right there in the number 1, and Mickey Lawson is hanging on pretty tough in the 3rd place spot.
Mickey has improved tremendously from being a top 10 car to being a top 5 car with some consistency.
Mickey lives nearby Lake Wiley, North Carolina. He's 3rd. Punchy Whitaker from the Concord, just up the road here from the Speedway, hanging on to 1st.
You can see we chewed up the lawn here pretty good tonight, the season opener, the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series, but there's a pass for the lead right there, but traffic might come into play. Hines has got the groove and the position by a nose as we go into 3.
Ralph, he makes that stick. That's the move of the night. He really went low, got in there, and then used that lap traffic to get around.
Can he hang on?
I think the bigger question, maybe can Punchy hang on to 2nd place back here with Mickey Lawson coming up on him.
I'd hate to be the one Pistone Posse member that doesn't bring back a victory.
He might get kicked out of the club.
Here's a look at the pass for the lead. You can see where Hines went right down into the rumble strips and held on.
Great job getting around the 27. That's good concentration. He knew where he was, and he knew where the cars around him were, and I think that shows you the level of competition.
Oh, Mickey Lawson gets run right up into the fencing. Mike White will sneak by. That puts Mike up into 3rd, and the 33W Bill Irwin goes by, who has already been passed by Mike.
You can see the concrete dust on the Mickey Lawson car on the right side tires as it came off the wall.
Yeah, right up into it.
Ooh. Wouldn't be surprised if that right rear tire didn't go down on the Lawson car before it's over.
Well, Punchy Whitaker, look at how those Pistone cars cornered. You see how much ground he made up on Hines? You can see Hines pulls away down the straight a bit, but look at how Punchy gets through the turn. 3 to go. Now, what does Punchy Whitaker do? Robert Stidd gets past in the 7R. Well, he uses a chrome horn. That's what he does. He hammered it.
Oh, Punchy got up on one of the rumple strips there, and that cost him about 2 car lengths. That may have made the difference in the race here.
Oh, this is going to be good. You know, the pressure is on. Punchy has got to bring home that 4th win. Will sweep weeks continue in professional sports, the NBA, the NHL, and of course Legends?
Ralph, that car is getting awfully loose coming off the turn. His rear end's kicked out the last 2 times.
He goes to the outside with lap traffic in front of him. We're on the white flag lap. James Hines, Punchy Whitaker, and you can see Mike White in the background. Punchy hammers him. Not going to get him. He loses it. James Hines will win. The Flintstone Posse has been stopped, and the final round of racing here in the season opener of the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series.
Well, Punchy gambled that he could move James Hines up out of the groove. Looked like maybe up out of the racetrack there, because he really nailed him. And you got to give James Hines in the 11 here a lot of credit
for hanging on.
He kind of let the car just go out and have its own head, then bring it right back to the start-finish line. James Hines made 2 super moves tonight: the pass to get the lead and the move to hold on and win this race.
Next Tuesday night and every Tuesday night from right here at the Food Lion Summer Shootout Series. Race Scan bringing us all of our communications gear. We thank them. For Mark Garrow and Doug Rice, I'm Ralph Shaheen. See you next Tuesday. Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ralph Shaheen, Doug Rice, and Jerry Gappins along with you. Just completing our interview segment with the Winston Cup drivers, and now it's time for the semi-pro division of the Legends cars to kick off our Legends car racing portion of the program tonight. Here's a look at their lineup for their 25-lap feature. Mark Doby, Todd Delaney on row 1. Ricky Hendrick, first time we've seen him out here this year. Yes, he is the son of car owner Rick Hendrick. Timothy Peters, another good qualifying effort there. Wayne Austin, and there's one of those hot Pistone Posse members, Nick Pistone. Jeff Matthews, David Tucker, row 6. Craig Herlocker, who you saw earlier on, got airborne in the last race. Jeff Turner, Mike Bice, and Jimmy Guthrie. Francis Rossner, Rodney Childers, and Carol Edwards and E.B. Jackson. Making our way through the rest of the field. Wheeler, Rudd, Dickerson, and Bradshaw. Carol Edwards, Tommy Gainey, and Sam Lockwood will round out row 14 in car number 70.
And Ralph, we should touch on the fact that qualifying has changed a little bit for the main events tonight, in the sense that if you won the feature last week, the best place you can start this week is 8th. That way they hopefully keep it a lot more competitive throughout the season.
So basically you can see Nick Pistone goes right back to the 8th position. Just invert that. Have 3 more names there at the bottom. You just invert that top 8 in the points. The rest of the drivers will all get assigned a position according to how they finish in their heat races. There's John Freeman, who owns Freeman Car Stereo here in the Charlotte area. They got about 5 or 6 locations. He's got Kenwood as his big sponsor, and they've got a Legends car here that is turned into a stereo monster. It's got 500 plus watts flowing through that thing.
That's the Legends car convertible that you're looking at there. And that big boombox Legends car you were talking about, Ralph, is in big demand. I think he did close to 30 Christmas parades. So I think they crank up jingle bells and let him go on the Christmas parade circuit. We'll see if John can parade up through the field tonight as the green's about to come out.
We got one up and missing a wheel already. The 49 heading right off the racetrack.
That's Freddie Lancaster. And Freddie had trouble last week too, so this is 2 weeks in a row that Freddie's getting the airtime that he didn't want.
He's got big problems tonight. There's the 18 car as well. That's out. That's Greg Herlocker. And bigger problems. Looks like more expensive problems for that car. Hoses off and everything. That's the 21 machine of Chris Woods.
Looked like maybe the hose that goes to the oil cooler was disconnected on the Chris Woods car, and that's a tough break for Chris. Chris was the Rookie of the Year last year over at Concord Motor Speedway, 31 years old, and was hoping to come in here tonight and make a good showing in the Legends cars.
There's the yellow car going up in the air. Was that Pistone that he got together with? Yeah, Doug, I think he rolled up the back of the Pistone car.
We're going to get another peek at it here. Maybe we can really tell.
See the light blue car with the blue stripes down the top. Yep. That's Nick Pistone.
Little rim riding there on Nick Pistone, and oh, Freddie's got big problems there as the toe end is completely gone on both of the front cars. Probably the ball joints probably snapped underneath that left front tire there.
Well, let's check in with Jerry Gappens and find out the story.
Freddie, the starts are always the most dangerous in any auto racing event. This one was no exception. What happened on that start?
Somebody checked up in front of us and they won't know where to go.
Gets a little crowded there. Can you fix it and come back at all?
No, this is the main. I will be out the rest of the night. We'll be back next week.
Okay. Freddie Lancaster said this is not the way he wanted to be on TV. Back up to you, Ralph and Doug.
Sure of that, Jerry. That's exactly right. Well, there is oil out on the racetrack. As you saw, the hose came off on the 21 car of Chris Woods. So we're going to clean up the track, and we'll be right back.
Welcome, NASCAR fans, to Food Lion for the start of the NASCAR Superfan Challenge, where everyone's saving and racing to win great prizes, including a Richard Petty Edition motorhome from Winnebago and over $20 million in prizes and discounts. Plus, check game tickets for instant winnings, like a $10,000 MasterCard credit. So, folks, who's it going to be?
What took you boys so long?
The NASCAR Superfan Challenge. Play today, only at Food Lion.
Back through the field here, the various cars on display tonight.
Mark Doby is in the 43 car, which is painted up like Richard Petty's old machine in the Petty blue, and he is currently running in second place. Him and his brother Brian, huge Petty fans. You'll see Brian a little later. His car painted up like Kyle's. We're back underway. Todd Laney up front. There's a good battle for third with Freeman in the 5F. And Clay Watts in that black and orange #1. Boy, that's going to get tight. Is that Timothy Peters on the inside? Sure is.
Car there. Timothy's the guy that drove a beautiful looking car last year that kind of was painted up like a bowling ball.
He tore that car up a lot last year, too.
Big time.
But he really showed flashes of brilliance in that 77. And you and I put, well, big problems there for a lot of guys. That's really going to kill Freeman's speed, isn't it?
Well, he had to check up because Watts checked up, and Timothy Peters got the better of that. And I think that's going to move him well up ahead of this pack because he'll try to chase down the leaders. Well, Peters is just a teenager, so I don't want to put too much pressure on him.
The 12 has problems. The 12F of Fred England.
Oh, there's John Freeman getting turned around, and Nicky Pistone gets sideways on the course.
Well, things not going too well for the Pistone posse early on here in round #2 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. Let's see what happens here. This is the first one where the car in front of John locks him up. That sends him wide. And then he has this problem. Looks like he just, hard to tell if he got together with that car on the inside, but he is going to collect Pistone.
Oh, that has to knock Pistone's car all out of line, too. And, of course, the 44 there on the inside was Wayne Austin, or at least Wayne came through late in all of that melee and looked like he may have escaped most of the problems.
So the lights are on the Legends pace car. And when we come back from this short break, we will have everybody lined back up, and we'll everybody just about lined back up and ready to go racing. As you take a look at that 43 car of Mark Doby out of Whitsett, North Carolina.
There's John Freeman, who has spun around a couple of times here, and that right rear is about to go.
Well, let's check in with Jerry Gappens, who's got the leader of the Pistone. I like this one.
That's tough, isn't it?
That's just wild.
The 711 of Mike Bias races up in Ona, West Virginia.
Good looking paint scheme.
He tows in here every week to come down and run, and they
actually, you know, that's probably one of those paint schemes. There's probably a bunch of people at home right now going, oh, I can't believe they like that. It's probably one of those paint schemes you either like it or hate it. I like it.
I'm in the like category. That looks pretty good.
You like green? We got a green flag.
There is Mr. Bias making a move to the inside. like about 6th place back there.
Here comes Timothy Peters. A lot of smoke out of the back of that one.
Mark Doby rides in 2nd in the blue number 43. Timothy Peters trying to chase him down. Timothy, just a teenager, and you can already tell, Ralph, just from last year to this year, he's getting around the racetrack a lot better than what we saw last season.
Tremendous improvement, but I've really been impressed with these Doby brothers too. Mark driving that 43 car, and Brian, who you're going to see in a little while. In fact, Brian started in the last row and finished 5th in his race. He ran in the Chargers division last week.
Mark has got that hooked up too. The 43 is really working well on the bottom of the racetrack. Look at the lane
take the lead. Yep, he's got it. Here comes Peters. Nice veteran move by Timothy Peters.
Todd Laney had to check up a little bit, and that let Mark Doby get around him. And now here comes Timothy Peters.
Oh boy, hard on the brakes.
Got into the rumple strip there along the inside too.
Momentum is a big key to going quick in one of these Legends cars. One car spins, no yellow flag. That is the 2 car, painted up just like Rusty Wallace's car. It's Jimmy Guthrie.
And the leaders get around him. Timothy Peters hard on the brakes that time. Now he'll make the move to take over the runner-up spot.
5 laps to go. Oh, Peters working him, just lightly tapping the back. Pair of sedans there. You can get either a coupe or a sedan. Right now, Ford and Chevy, major marks that they've redone, but there's Dodge brand bodies coming out soon.
Dodgers will be out by the end of the year, and they're real excited about that. Now, Timothy made a nice move there, got up, the love tap, got him out of line.
Oh, man. Something tells me Laney didn't like that too much, so. See how he came right back down him and slid right into the back of him?
I believe that's Justin Snow back there. He's trying to work his way up in the 7NC, and then you got the bias machine back there.
This is going to get interesting here between these two.
This is a battle for 2nd place.
The leader is pretty much checked out from these two. He has got about a 1.5 seconds or more on him.
That's a lot on this racetrack.
Oh boy.
You get a 2nd lead on this racetrack, and you've done your work here.
Yeah, you have.
Timothy Peters in the 77, Todd Laney in the 17, and then Justin Snow working back there.
Laney's car must be real loose as you look at our leader. Laney's car must be real loose in 3 and 4. Real pushy, actually, because if he even gets the slightest bump going into that turn, he goes all the way up to the wall. Here comes Doby off of turn number 4. The 43 of Mark Doby gets his first win of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. Laney takes one last shot at Peters, but Peters sticks the finger out the sign to say, guess what, I'm number 1. I beat you back.
Pushed him across the start-finish line. A lot of people are always happy to see a blue car with a 43 on the side win. Doesn't matter who's driving it.
So the Pistone posse comes to a screeching halt early on here in round number 2. Let's take a look at that bumping that was going on out there. That's Peters getting into the back of Laney. Pushes him offline a little bit.
And that's just a teenager in that 77. That was a good move. And
oh, look at Laney came right back.
Put the hammer down.
And then Bias took a shot too.
Peters' car almost broke loose. The 77 just hanging on coming out of the turn.
So Doby exits a winner.
They all had to chase that man tonight who did a great job.
And here's a look at the top 5 results. Everybody pretty much right where we expected them to be there.
And I think it made this race a lot more interesting with the way that they reshuffled the starting order, not allowing maybe some of the top cars from last week to start on the point this week. And it's going to make it more interesting as we go through the season.
Next group of cars all set to roll off. So let's show you the lineup for the Masters division. Cotton Spry and Mike Hughes. Remember, we're inverting the top 8 here. Hal Mitchell and Barry Graham. Another 43 that always runs well here. Randy Dakota, Dr. Mark Moskowitz. First time I think we've seen him this summer, isn't it? Mickey Lawson and James Hines. Ray Carey and Ralph Medlin in row 5. Bill Irwin and Richard Hinson in row 6. John Smith, Mike White, one of the best in the Masters division. The leader of Hank's Heroes, Hank Jones in the 6 JR, and Lamont there with him. Sefried, Berry, Stidd, and Simmons as you look back to Fred Brown in car 97.
So this will be interesting. You got Mike Wyke, who was the Masters champion last year, languishing back about halfway through the field tonight. So we take a look at some of the cars at parade rest here.
Here's a look at the points in the Masters division. James Hines leads him by 3 over Mike Wyke, and those two have battled for the championship almost every year.
And there's the doctor back there, Mark Moskowitz, in 5th place in points. You get a look at the Coors Silver Bullet IHOP Restaurant, Valvoline. I've got too many sponsors. I don't have enough room car.
There's Hank Jones, the leader of Hank's Heroes, the Valvoline Sports Design Bojo Markets machine. And look, he's going to have the Terry Labonte car right alongside of him.
Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. That's what we were talking about earlier. A lot of these cars done up like the Winston Cups. You just saw a Richard Petty look-alike, an earlier vintage Richard Petty look-alike, win the race.
It's Mike Hughes in that 5. And we're about to go green. Up through the gearbox and down into 1.
There's Barry Graham on the outside. Now Barry is a driving instructor for the Richard Petty Driving School, originally from Australia, holding on to number 43.
Oh, and Barry gets together with one of them. There's Moskowitz's car in the 12, and I think that was Al Mitchell's number 9 involved. Yep. And the 27 is Steve Childers.
Now, Mark Moskowitz's car, the yellow 12 that you saw involved there, is one of the few cars that would throw off sheet metal, Ralph, because that's one of the older vintage metal-bodied cars. When they first came out with these cars, you get a good look at the 12 there. Metal bodies. I think there's maybe 2 of them out here. Renee Dakota, who is also in this division, runs a metal-bodied car.
Here's a look at it. Mitchell and Graham get together. The Doc goes flying. Mickey Lawson getting involved as well in the yellow and white and red car at the top of your screen.
We need to mention Mickey Lawson and his son Scott both won feature races down in Lanier, Georgia this past Saturday. They celebrated Father's Day in a pretty good style. Father and son winning feature races on the same night.
Looked to me like Barry Graham got down over the rumble strips, got the car loose and slid up into him, and then it just broke out from there.
And then the rest of this happened many seconds after. This is sort of the collateral damage of the first wreck.
And a lot of oil again.
I think we've already seen more oil on the track this year than we did all last season.
We'll be back. And we're looking like a green flag.
That's got to be Mike Hughes from Atlanta, Georgia on the point.
The 11, of course, is James Hines.
Saw James in the highlight a moment ago. He's the guy that got drop kicked last weekend. Curious to see if Barry Graham's 43, which is the 4th car in line here, is going to be handling well.
James has really been one of those drivers to have, I want to say, mastered the Masters division, but
Cotton Spry back there in 3rd place from Salisbury, North Carolina, in the 16 car.
And there goes James.
Cotton lives right above my sister's house. When I'm over there visiting, they live kind of on an isolated road. You'll be talking, the next thing you'll hear, he'll go down, turn around at the end of the road and come back.
Nice neighborhood your sister lives in.
Yeah, it is. Same one where the family has target practice.
Don't want to go there. So Cotton Spry, oh, is that Mike Wyke? It sure is. Wow, big news there. Mike Wyke, who has been trying to catch James Hines in the point battle here this year in the Masters division, is going to lose a lot of ground and a lot more points here in round number 2. It's going to make it real tough to make up all that ground as the year moves on. Take a look at what happened to him. The silver car, top of your screen.
Yeah, you have a couple of bad finishes in a 10-race series. It'll really hurt you. Mike does the complete 360 there and goes into the grass, comes back out onto the course.
He had brake problems last week with just 2 laps to go. He thought he had those figured out. James Hines gonna maybe get his 2nd win in a row in 2 weeks in the Masters division. I said he had mastered the Masters, and it's making me look like I know what I'm talking about.
Mike Hughes from Atlanta riding 2nd, and it's Cotton Spry hanging on to 3rd here.
Well, James Hines is a member of Hank's Heroes. So as we get halfway through the portion of the Legends Cars racing here tonight, it'll be 1 win for Hank's Heroes and nothing for the Pistone Posse as checkered flag falls for James Hines. When we come back, we'll find out if Todd Bodine can win his 3rd Home Depot Challenge and if Jeff Gordon will go 0-3. Stay with us. Next week, Brian Sockwell will round out the field back in row 14 in the 4U. And the points for the Pro Division. Rounding out the top 5.
That's Clay Hare. Of course, we talked with Clay Hare earlier in the show. Did Jerry Gappens, and he announced he's got the WCW sponsorship on his car here.
You've watched a few of those, haven't you?
Clay, dare I say?
Haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And your favorite wrestler would be?
Oh, I'm from North Carolina. You got to be from Nature Boy all the way.
Ric Flair.
We will see if Clay can, dare I say, wrestle his way to the front.
Unfortunately, we will see you say that.
As we see the field come by, the whole parade here. Of course, Clay got the WCW sponsorship. He's Diamond Mitch Motorsports on that car. As
Gary
they get ready
Bechtel's
to roll
operation.
by here. That's right.
And there's Sockwell at the very back.
And Brian Sockwell way back there. We're not used to seeing him. Of course, Brian is running the Goodies Dash series this year, getting some help from John and Jeff Craig, and they sort of ride along and help him out every week. So he'll be heading up to Bristol this weekend. There's a good look at Brian Sockwell. He'll take his Goodies Dash car up to Bristol. He's currently, I think, 2nd in the rookies points in the Goodies Dash series.
Dash cars are on Friday and the trucks are on Saturday. Is that the schedule?
I believe so.
There's G.E. Chapman in the white, number 29. Wayne Sharp, Tommy Rape, I mean, in the 04 on the inside of it. Here we go. Pro Division underway, 25 laps.
Fair gets a nice jump, and right there's Clay Hare hanging on the 2nd.
You see the red car in the middle up there getting loose. A little side-by-side, and Doug Vandenbrink in the 103 car, WSOC sponsored machine, spins, as does, it looks like, Ed Brown, tows all the way from Leesburg, Florida.
Now, Ed's got the exact replica of Rusty Wallace. I mean, including the red, white, and blue decal package, as you can see as he pulls his car back away. And there's Vandenbrink.
Doug paints a lot of the helmets of the different racers.
There's the Ed Brown Rusty Wallace clone machine as he pulls back in the line. They were well back in the pack even at the start of this tonight.
We lit the lamp on the yellow taxi cab last week, one of the Pistone Posse members.
Well, he'll let them rally from way back if they want to do that tonight. Up.
There's Tommy Pistone right there.
The only time they get to light it up is when they win.
Still one of the neatest looking cars in the field.
Gotta like that taxi cab light.
Okay, here we go again. Farah and Hare. Clay Hare
jumps to the point there, gets around Chuck Gaffera. Of course, Chuck Gaffera works for the Bobby Hill and crew. Got the Jasper Engine sponsorship on his car.
Ooh, there's some contact in there. Oh, one car has big problems and everybody's scrambling around him. That's the one. Was that John Craig?
So John Craig's backing up through the field.
He's got a new paint scheme this year.
I think Hoyt Demas is right in behind him. Hoyt lost his sponsorship. He had one on here last year. He's doing it out of his own pocket this time around.
That's Doc Brewer in the 44, is it not?
Now, of course, Doc came over and is running for Hank Jones this year.
Yeah, he's one of Hank's heroes, and he's got new sponsorship from the folks at Realtree. Here's Chuck Rivera and John Craig getting together. Woohoo!
But you see the toe in on the left side disappear on John's car, and it probably won't work well the rest of the night after that little altercation.
Well, everybody's slowing down now as the yellow has come out. Looking around, I don't see anything out there. Apparently there was a car in the middle of the racing lane who was able to exit smoothly, so this should be a short yellow.
Up front, it's Clay Hare.
Oh, here's the reason why. You can see the incident right there. The 19, Jeff Wright out of Alberton, Georgia.
Jeff lucky that nobody collected him in the side. Of course, now we've been talking a little bit about Clay Hare here tonight. Clay really has had most of his Legends car success running up in Nashville with the Brooks and Dunn series, and he's done some other kinds of automobile racing, but that's where he's done most of his Legends car, or at least had most of his success in his Legends cars.
Here's a look at Clay. Rivera gets right up on him. And G.E. Chapman in the thick of things. Boy, it's a big freight train. Hare, Rivera, 32 Greg Schultz, your top three.
Of course, Clay Hare gets Billy Engle to help him out on this car a little bit.
That should be your battle for sixth. Hoyt Demas, Mazine, and Craig, and then G.E. Chapman.
It's pretty good talent in all three of those cars there.
And Tommy Rape in the 04.
Well, this is the pro division. You got guys up here that have raced for as long as there have been Legends cars. Every pilot in here is pretty well qualified.
Tommy Rape.
Breakaway.
Tommy Rape with a good move inside. He picks off Craig. The Stones car just sandwiched deep in the field, the 59. And Schultz now starting to pound a little bit on the back. Here's that battle for third. Doc, car 44.
Yep, Chuck Rivera on the outside in the 77, and that's Doc Brewer wanting to take a peek in that Realtree machine.
I think Doc's got him. He'll make it stick.
And Hoyt Demas right back there. He's going to try to sneak in and take advantage of all that.
And not just yet. Oh, he's got to get the rear end a little bit loose.
Chuck didn't want to give him that bottom side, and Clay Hare slowed down. He was waving the other guys around him. Apparently his car's broke.
Big problems for Clay Hare. What a shame. Nice night, a good way of debuting the new WCW backed entry.
Tough break for Clay tonight. He had a good car. Looked like nobody was going to catch him.
Here's the good racing up front, and there is your new leader, the 32B, Greg Schultz out of Huntersville, North Carolina.
Hooked up, took advantage of the fact that a couple of other cars disappeared, and Greg Schultz is pulling away. We've seen this quite a few times, haven't we, Ralph?
Yeah, and he's got a fairly good-sized lead, too. Battle for second back here. Doc Brewer, Hoyt Demas.
And right behind them, G. Chapman.
Tommy Rape back after them.
Of course, G, a defending champion here.
Rivera is all the way back behind Tommy Rape.
That's the 29 right there of G. Chapman. The car in the middle is Hoyt Demas, and up front, Doc Brewer.
Nobody giving up that inside line, and everybody's car handling pretty well. They're hanging right in there. Well, Demas is really pounding on the back of the Doc, isn't he?
Yep. By the way, the Doc is a real Doc. That's not a nickname somebody hung on him. He's a doctor's specialty is emergency medicine. Oh, we got trouble coming out of turn 2.
That's the 0-1 car of Eddie Baldwin. He gets out of the way. We stay green. Oh, no, the yellow comes out. Well, that's not what he wanted to see.
Greg's big lead evaporates. There's Greg Scholes will now let everybody come back up and tag right on his rear bumper here.
Oh, the 99 was the one that got loose. That was Jeff Craig. And then he just clipped Eddie Baldwin.
It's Jeff Craig, and you saw the right front wheel on his car get knocked out of line. We've had a lot of cars tonight that are going to have new ball joints put on them before they come back out here and race again next week. And there, Ed Brown back there in the 2 car. Should be a pretty short lived caution here.
Yep, they're set to go. Schultz leads them back off of Ford to the green flag.
Well, we'll see if Doc Brewer can get after him this time, as Greg Scholes will lead him on a short sprint here to the finish.
This is interesting that Schultz is able to pull away that quickly from these guys. 2 laps to go, and it looks like the battle is going to be for second place again. I don't think anybody's got anything for Greg Schultz.
And it's not so much horsepower, it's the way you hook the car up and transfer that power down to the wheels and get them to stick, because as you said last week, Ralph, the cars are overpowered to begin with, even before you do performance work on them.
Good racing here in this battle for second. And it looks like Doc Brewer has got a handle on it now. Whoop, problems for Doug Vandenbrink. He goes through the grass. Schultz takes the win, and second place goes to the Doc. Demas is 3rd, Chapman is 4th. So that wraps up the Pro Division here in week number 2 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series. We'll be back with a conversation with Greg Schultz when we return to the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway live on Sports South. For the last 25 lapper, and Doug Vandenbrink's name is in there, but Doug was not finishing 3rd. We'll have to update you on that, but let's Andy, Steve Thompson, Dobie, Kelly, as we make our way back through the field. Tolliver Smith, Sossaman, Orr, Keaton, Lawrence, Welburn, Charles Guest, and Kurt Andrews in row 6. Snow, Mal Pollard, we'll get to his story, the gentleman from down under, Kevin Sykes and Randy Crowder, Hanson, Thompson, Brzezinski, and Chapman as you look at the rest of the field. And all the way back past Rick Bass, Will Snellgrove. And I think that's it. Okay.
And they keep no points here in Chargers Division.
There's car number 6 that we wanted to tell you about, Mal Pollard. His name's Malcolm. They call him the Flying Wombat. Comes from down under as we get set to go to green. He's a handicapped driver. He's utilizing hand controls. There's the other Dobie car. Now we've seen one Dobie get a win already tonight. Let's see if Brian can do it now in the 42.
Cars get really spread out back there, including the Lawson machine. Now they kind of get back in line here.
And also, Doug, we haven't seen a victory yet for the Pistone Posse. Gandy in the 9 car is a Pistone Posse member. See if he can pull it off.
Brian Gandy in the 9 car is only 19 years old.
up along the wall there. That's
up a lot of dust, too.
Big stack up here.
Well,
pace car comes out. See one car sitting to the inside there, just at the exit of turn 4. We'll regroup, line it back up, and get back at it as soon as we can straighten out Charles Guest. There's Brian Gandy, the last shot for the Pistone Posse to get another win.
Fanned out 3 wide there for a little.
Well, the Dobie boys have been hot so far. Maybe they can really put a chink in the armor of the Pistone Posse.
That's Brian Dobie in second place in the 42.
Boy, Ray Kelly doing a lot of leaning in the 52 on the backside of Tolliver Smith. Now he gets leaned on by Roger Neal, or Steve Thompson, actually.
Real busy back there in the pack this week.
A couple of 32s tonight. This is battle for third.
Tolliver Smith is involved in this, the 21.
And if he's not careful, he's going to lose third. Comes Ray Kelly back at him, and there's that 32 around again.
He had a rough week last week, did Roger Neal.
And look at the 52 is out as well, Ray Kelly.
So the 52 back up and underway, as well as the 32.
And the yellow flag is out. The 3 car is around. That is Bobby Pence. Well, we're going to take one more break. Stay with us. We're coming back to the Chargers. Here with about 5 laps to go as we've gone back to green here at Charlotte. The Chargers race trying to wrap up, and Brian Gandy may be going to save face for the Pistone Posse by getting them 1 win here tonight.
Of course, Brian's car prepared by Tiger Tom Pistone. Back in second place right now rides Brian Dobie in the 42. Obviously his favorite driver is Kyle Petty. Brian last week started 31st in the Charger Features event and wound up finishing 5th. And that is tough when you pass that many cars to come up and place that well. So good run, and he's backing it up again this week.
Well, we got 2 stacked up down in 1 and 2. And the yellow comes out.
Once again, that's Roger Neal in the 32. Prestige Farm entry, the Chicken Man. And the chicken looks like it's been plucked here.
Our next telecast, the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show, will be a part of it. Home Depot Mystery Challenge. And Legends Features races, of course.
We don't know. It's a mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him that.
We want to thank the folks at RaceScan for the help with communicating to Todd Bodine tonight. Added a lot of color to the show.
Especially the part where I told you to be quiet. So you could...
I figured you'd like that.
That was fun.
I like the part where he said, watch this, and turns into Gordon. That was kind of funny. We're going to get a green and then a white and then a checker. 2 laps to go.
Interactive television there for a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're a pioneer.
Trying to go where no man has gone before.
Boulder.
Cheaply.
Well, let's see if Brian Dobie can chase down Brian Gandy here over his last lap and a half.
A good battle brewing there between the 21 and the 7. The 7's Jacob Butner and Tolliver Smith in that 21, trying to hold on to third as the white flag comes out.
Brian Gandy out of Mooresville, going to be tough to run down here for Brian Dobie.
Johnny Sossman Jr. 14 picks up a spot. And the Pistone Posse will get a win tonight. Not as dominant as last week, but Brian Gandy does bring home a victory in the Charger division. So week number 2 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series, brought to you by the good folks at Food Lion, here live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, is over. The champ still undefeated. Here's CMS. Thanks for coming to play with us, Jeff. For Jerry Gappens, Doug Rice, I'm Ralph Sheen. See you next Tuesday night.
in round 2 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Pistone posse that rode off with all the loot in week 1 found themselves corralled in week 2. Nick Pistone was rounded up in the semi-pro race, leaving Mark Doby to gallop from the back of the pack, dodge the bullets, and capture his first Legends win here at CMS. In the pro division, Tom Pistone III wound up with his mount grazing on the infield grass. Out front, no one could mount a challenge to Greg Scholes as he wins his first Summer Legends Shootout race of '96 and his 15th in the past 3 years. Hi again, everybody. This is Mark Garrow back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for round 3 of the Summer Legends Shootout in 1996.
Yeah, there's Lugnut. I'm sure after seeing that, he'll have a Flaming Legends car knowing him.
That's kind of scary.
Let's go to the semi-pro division feature lineup. This will be a 25-lap race. John Freeman, you've already met, is your pole sitter. Jason Austin will join him on the front row, then Rodney Childers and Todd Laney in row 2. Wayne Austin and Justin Snow, Timothy Peters, the youngster we've been talking a lot about in recent weeks, and Mark Doby. Boy, those Doby brothers have been tough. In row 6, Butch Hamlin will line up with Greg Herlocker as we move back into row 7. Ricky Hendrick, the son of Rick Hendrick, will bring out the H1. Clay Watts, Jeff Turner, and David Tucker in the next 2 rows. Francis Rossner, one female in the field with the .08. Chris Woods and Freddie Lancaster in row 10. Nick Pistone, part of the Pistone posse with Rodney Childers and Jerry Dickerson and Sam Lockwood in row 12. E.B. Jackson, Grant Lockwood in row 14.
And a couple of females in this show tonight. You got Carol Edwards and Frances Rossner.
You see the points atop the semi-pro standings are tied. Young Timothy Peters chasing after Justin Snow. And there is Timothy Peters sitting right there in the 77. If you're not a regular viewer of the Summer Legends Shootout Series last year, Timothy made his debut on the tour. Ran real well, but kind of sporadic in his abilities to stay totally controlled out on the racetrack. But he really seems to have matured behind the wheel between last year and this year. And this year he has really become a contender. He was real quick, and now he has reined in all that energy and is using it to good use. Let's get to Mark Garrow again.
Down here with Ricky Hendrick. The first 2 weeks, Ricky, you started dead last in the back of the pack. You were able to move up to just outside the top 10. This week, you got a better starting spot. How do you feel about getting farther up front?
Yeah, you know, we've been doing a lot better. We had to get some help from John Freeman. We kind of got a monkey on our back right now. We got caught for being illegal last Tuesday night. The Tuesday night before that, we kind of got a new team and got kind of confused with the wrong setup. But right now, like you said, we're in a good position. Let's see what happens.
Now, Ricky Hendrick hopes to put the big Q Quaker State car in victory lane tonight. He's moved up from the Charger division where he won a number of races last year, but he's found it a lot tougher sledding in the semi-pro class. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, that's one of the things that happens to you in the Chargers division. You win a couple of races and they automatically bump you up to the next level.
You're allowed 3 official victories and then you're moved on up. You can elect to go anywhere you want to from there. You don't have to go to semi-pro. You can go to pro, or if you meet the age requirement, you can go racing masters. You know, Ralph, we touched on it briefly. A couple of women in this group, Carol Edwards and Frances Rosser. I'm really kind of surprised that more women haven't taken up Legends car racing. I thought this might be a good way for a lot of women to try to get into an entry-level racing and see if they wanted to go off. I think that may be something we'll see develop over the next couple of years as you get a look at the .08 of Frances Rosser there.
Of course, Frances picking .08 because she is very much against drinking and driving and is letting everybody know exactly what the legal limit is.
And that is the legal limit in North Carolina. I'll tell you right now, that's not too much at a .08 as we get ready to crank them up here. Let's go back down to Mark Garrow.
A little note on Frances Rosner. Now, she took up the drinking and designated driver don't drink and drive theme because some friends of hers had their children killed by a drunk driver who had been convicted 5 times of DUI. And one of the neat things about her helmet that she drives around this racetrack, for good luck, she's had it signed by 3 generations of Petty. Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, and when Adam Petty was out here last year at Legends Racing, she also had him sign it as well. So she's out there with a message and with a lucky charm.
probably sell off the helmet to finance her racing for another year if she wanted to, with all 3 of those autographs on it. She ought to go back and get Grandpa Lee Petty to autograph that.
Yeah.
Then you got it, 4 generation.
Well, you are a total master of the obvious.
I am. I just, you know, don't want to leave anything out there. Don't want to leave a dangling poticicle. There's Lug Nut.
So the semi-pro division, as you saw, Justin Snow and Timothy Peters tied atop the standings. You know, I figured we'd see Timothy do better this summer, but I didn't expect him to be tied for the points lead 3 races in.
We're getting in deep enough in now that you can start to tell who may have a shot at winning it. I hate to start talking about points so early on, but that's just the dominant theme of all the drivers. They all concentrate on that so much and think so much about it. You got a quick look at the 1RC. That's the other female, Carol Edwards, in the race. We're ready to go.
Here we go, and John Freeman will lead him to the green flag. In turn 1, and it's going to bring out the red flag because we've got 1 car upside down.
That's the first time that's happened this year. We've had it happen before in the other seasons, but the first time this year, and that looks like maybe the Clay watch machine. I'm not sure.
Chris Woods.
Chris Woods.
Car 21.
From Boylston, Massachusetts, up on its side. And
Nick Pistone is in there in the 2-tone blue machine, the light blue with the darker blue striping on the 59, and the 24, Grant Lockwood, is also involved. There's Pistone.
Well, things had to go wrong in a hurry.
Let's see if we can catch it. Oh, there it goes. Frances Rosner, I think, involved in that too, Doug.
Looked like Frances got turned around. She saw it coming and got turned around, but it was really hard to tell with what we saw there is what would have been the genesis of that. And that looks like Chris getting out of the car there. He's going to be able to walk away, and that's a good deal.
Chris drives a late model, spends a lot of time behind the wheel of a Goodwrench Services backed late model, and his Legends car racing not going as smoothly. Stay with us. Well, I guess they're going green according to Mark.
So we'll get the field cranked back up here in the semi-pro division tonight.
And it doesn't look like Chris Woods is going to make the call. And we're back to green. Much smoother this time through 1 and 2. Wayne Austin in the 44 sits in 3rd. John Freeman leads him, and it's the 54 of Rodney Childers out of Mooresville running in 2nd.
John Freeman, nice break, and we get one spinning around here, going backwards against traffic, but it looks like everybody will get around that little problem okay. And meanwhile, John has what in Legends car racing is a comfortable lead. Anytime you get out more than about 3 car lengths on a little quarter-mile, Ralph, that's a pretty good distance.
That's a lot of ground on one of these. You can really hear him feathering the throttle through the turn, too.
Like there's Wayne Austin in the 44 hanging on the 3rd place spot here. That's the blue car that's just coming into your picture.
Wayne sits 5th in the points. He's actually tied with E.B. Jackson for 4th.
And that's a teenager there in the number 77. That's Timothy Peters with the Coca-Cola car, driving the sedan model tonight. And as Ralph alluded to earlier, has put a lot of polish on his driving style this year.
Much more patient. Doesn't seem to just stick the nose in there like he did last year. Oh, look at this battle. That's Doby in the 43, Mark Doby. The 1 car in the 17 is David. That's Todd Laney, isn't it? 17F.
17F, yeah, that's Todd Laney from Monroe, North Carolina.
Pistone struggling.
By the way, the Chris Woods number 21 car couldn't get back in. He had some bent-up suspension pieces, so they wouldn't let him come back out.
this front group here is really cooking along. Childers trying to hang on to the backside of Peters, but nobody seems to be able to do anything with John Freeman.
Timothy Peters has picked up a spot here. Now Austin setting sail, trying to track down John Freeman. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Freeman's car looks to be really hooked up, and he's waving like there's trouble in front of him.
There is a yellow flag out, and that is the one thing that can stop John Freeman. The 46 car of Dan Daniel is involved in his second spin of the evening in this race, and that'll bring out a yellow flag and bunch everybody back up. Now it'll be a question of whether or not John Freeman can get a really good start again.
I think if he gets the good jump route, it'll be really hard. His car seems to be hooked up nice for the racetrack, and these guys put a lot of work into suspension, making the car match up with the right set of tires, and that's the key to getting around here because everybody's got the horsepower.
And it was blisteringly hot out here earlier today.
It had to be up in the mid-90s today, so if you calculated what the drop-off might be in temperature tonight, which wouldn't be much, you hit the right setup, you can go. Tommy Pistone makes a living at that, setting these legend cars up. These guys take it to him, and you know they come in one way and go out the other end of the shop, completely set up, ready to go racing.
6 of the scheduled 25 are complete. Boy, they're not letting Freeman get away at all, are they?
I know, got the death grip on his rear bumper there, and Timothy Peters doing the same thing to Wayne Austin.
John's not going to be able to escape real easy here. Going to have to drive away. One car spinning at the top of your screen.
But you got to remember they have that spin rule now that they put into effect.
It was the 54 of Ron Shepard. Kobe, that 43 car, winner a week ago, trying to repeat here tonight. 6th in the points. This would really help out John Freeman too, because he's mired back in 14th in points. He's had some troubles this season getting the car running the way it was supposed to, the way he wanted it to, and it's handling beautifully tonight. Points leader is that black.
Here comes Wayne Austin. He's pulled within a car length, and there's Peters, but they got hung up there with the lap traffic, and that's really going to help John Freeman.
5 laps to go now, we're told. Time constraints coming into play here as Peters runs it down into turn number 3, and he's going to get a good spot away from Austin, but look at the horsepower in that 44.
Wayne can hang it out there on the outside. You don't do that much in the Legends car racing. Chatted with Wayne briefly in the garage today. He said he felt like they'd finally gotten the handle just where they wanted it on their machine, and it's turned in a pretty good performance here. Timothy Peters wrestled around him.
Well, this battle for second place is exactly what John Freeman needed, because it has slowed these two guys up a little bit as they battle with each other.
It may have helped Mark Doby. I don't think Mark, though, in the 43 that's right out of the picture there is going to be able to sneak in, though, and grab that 3rd place spot. You just see the solid blue car coming in there.
So the inversion of the field will help John Freeman out here tonight, and it will shake up the point standings as Freeman looks to capture the checkered flag here tonight. The semi-pro feature will go to John Freeman's Freeman Car Stereo back number 5F. And that pack will race across to finish up inside the top 10. Oh, hang on. Looping it out as he crosses the line, Rodney Childers. There's the winner, John Freeman, in the 5F, his first checkered flag of the Summer Legends Shootout Series for 1996. Stay with
us. Why is the Home Depot so huge?
Well, the first feature for the Legends cars is in the books. It was a semi-pro race. John Freeman picks up the checkered flag. Timothy Peters, the youngster on a tear, masterfully fights his way to a good, strong second-place finish. And let's touch base now with Mark Garrow, who's got a lot of good interviews out of him in the coming future there, Mark.
You better hope he's never a Winston Cup champion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, off on a good roll to the Masters Division. This one should be really interesting. This is where the Pistone Posse and Hank's Heroes really go head-to-head. Punchy Whitaker, one of the leaders of that Pistone Posse, will start up in the front. John Smith, Mike White out of Hank's Heroes right back there in row number 2. Bray Carey having a good season so far, sits 5th in the points. He'll be inside row 3. As you take a look, there's the leader of Hank's Heroes, Hank Jones, in the 6JR Valvoline Bojo Market Sports Design backed entry. Steve Childers, Richard Hinson, Mark Moskowitz, the Doctor, and Lamont Brown making up the next 2 rows. Robert Stidd, Lane Seyfried, James Hines. Boy, James Hines is going to have a lot of work cut out for him tonight.
He was the winner last week in the Legends division, in the Masters division, the Legends car race. We'll see if he can do it this time around. Of course, as Ralph talked about last week, James Hines the winner, and then Bill Irwin rides in second, Renee Dakota, Mike Hughes, and Bray Carey hanging on to 5th.
And there is Bill Irwin, the man that sits second in the points from up the road in Statesville, North Carolina. Masters division, remember, everybody here 40 years of age or older.
I can relate.
I'll reserve comment as we get set to go to green. Hard into the throttle as you come off 2, racing her down the backstretch.
There's our second place guy, Bill Irwin, making a good move to the inside. Punchy Whitaker quick on the brake, though, in the 64.
Roger Simmons in the 10H, holding on to second.
Get a good look at Mike White's car tonight. It's a different paint scheme. We've talked about him in the past being the Silver Bullet, and we get one looped around.
Oh, and Irwin in the 33.
I believe that was Roger Simmons he got into there in the 10H. That's it.
And there's 2 33s in the field, but I'm pretty sure that was the man who was second in points, Bill Irwin, who got the worst of that. There's Simmons.
His car dinged up. New fenders that'll be due for that one.
He just loses it, Doug.
He did, and Mike White just barely missed him. He got around him in the 7.
Yeah, there's Irwin coming in from about 4th or 5th.
Well, that's the second place guy in points. Maybe not for long after that collision.
No, not after tonight. And what a shame. He was only 9 points behind James Hines, and he was in front of him on the racetrack at that point.
And that was a pretty good lick. The medical personnel will come out, and you might have, they will not let you back in a car unless you get released if your car is drivable. I don't think that car is going to be drivable tonight. The number 12 machine.
Here we go, back to green. Punchy Whitaker leads him. Randy Dakota in the 14X and Al Mitchell in the 9, side by side.
And up front, it's Punchy Whitaker, Mike White going after him.
And Steve Childers, I believe, in the white and yellow, number 27. Hard to see the numbers on the side.
Well, he's got kind of a lightning design on his main numbers there. Mike will take a peek to the inside here.
I like that new paint scheme. Looks pretty sharp.
It's kind of Hank's paint scheme in reverse. Woo! Don't you hang on.
Well, they instigated the punchy rule last week.
Punchy rule.
And Punchy out front leading this one. And it basically states that if the leader gets taken out, the guy who does said taking out goes to the back of the line, and the person who was taken out gets their spot back. Could come into effect here. It bit Punchy, and that's why the rule was written, but it could actually benefit him here tonight.
Well, since he's leading, just hanging on. Mike White will work down to the inside. Mike always has one of the best handling cars here. Mike is in the 7. Punchy's in the 64. Punchy runs a local tire and custom wheel shop just about 7 miles up the road from the speedway here. Mike has reduced his racing. He's not doing nearly as much Legends car racing, concentrating on the Summer Legends Shootout this year. His back's been giving him a lot of problems. He said he just feels better if he goes racing once a week.
And, you know, we're talking about the punchy rule, but 9 times out of 10, Mike White is a pretty clean racer.
Mike Mike will work on him. I mean, Michael let him know he's back there, but Mike didn't win all of his races and his championships by doing things wrong. You get a good look there. You could almost see down into Punchy's car, great camera look, that he's not sawing on the wheel. That car's going exactly where he wants it to go, and he's rock steady on the wheel through the turns, even with Mike White chewing all over him.
And this really is one of the best battles on the racetrack right now. As this one continues on, it's really becoming almost a four-car battle right now, as Childers is in the middle of this with 5 to go, and then one other car behind them trying to get it. Whoa, and Mike locks it up a little bit. Slower traffic coming into play.
Well, they come up on the 27 there and work around it.
Well, that's going to make the difference, I think.
Oh, Punchy gets loose, swings to the outside. Mike White takes advantage.
Oh, Mike goes wide now, Doug. Look at this.
John
wide. It's the 21. We were looking at it at the 27. From this distance, hard to see that top of that number. Boy, what a great race.
Once again, Punchy Whitaker in the 64, Mike White hanging on to the outside in the 7.
And they both go wide. They went too deep into the turn, Doug, and John Smith is going to take the lead.
It was like they got so involved with each other, they almost got down in there and forgot to make the turn.
And Mike Hughes is in the white 5M, who's in second. There goes a spinning brake carry with a heavily damaged car, as well as 2 others, and the yellow flag comes out. And there's Bray getting out of the car. Okay, but angry.
Doesn't look too happy about that as he gets out, hands on hip.
And James Hines getting out. James isn't very happy about it either. Huh.
I don't think they're discussing favorite restaurants here. A gendarme will come in and kind of calm these guys down.
Well,
looks like Bray will be buying a new helmet here pretty soon.
Apparently 2 different perspectives on that one. Jerry Gappins with a reassuring pat.
Race director and last week's pit reporter, Jerry Gappins, comes into the picture. Well, Hines just came up came in low, and then his car swept out and collected Bray. At least that's how it looked initially.
And definitely how it looked to Bray. Rene Dakota is involved in that as well. You saw him go by. There were the 2 leaders, Punchy and Mike White, going wide, as they just ran it in too deep.
It really was like they almost got so locked up racing each other. It was like, oh, we got a turn now. And before they knew it, they were out in the field. And that's John Smith in the 21 you saw. And there goes James Hines, last week winner.
Well, and the current points leader seeing that disappear. So Bill Irwin and James Hines will both get knocked out of the top 2.
Bray Carey was up there in the points too.
Bray was 5th. Yeah. Rene Dakota looks like he can make up a lot of ground here. He was sitting 3rd in the points.
We will see some jumbling in the points, as that is the view that no driver wants to enjoy. Seeing his car go up on the hook, and Punchy Whitaker's out of it here now, Ralph. I didn't know his car was that heavily damaged, but Mike, he'll come out of this. It looks like okay, but
he can
Punchy
come out of
James
this
Hines
real well. Come back to green.
So what, we got 2 laps here?
Yes, sir.
John Smith on the point. 2nd place is Mike Hughes.
White flag, 1 to go. Mike White would definitely like to pick up at least 1 more spot over Cotton Spry. John Smith holds off Mike Hughes to the final run up the straightaway. Nice slide, and he gets the win. We will be back to talk to the winner of this very interesting, highly volatile Masters race, the Home Depot Challenge, coming up. Speedway. Here's a look at the results of the Masters race. Smith, Hughes, Spry, Mike White will have to settle for 4th, and Renee Dakota comes home in 5th. Let's go down to, here is your grid. Doug Vandenbrink in the WSOC 103 car is up front with Roddy Dean Austin, Bob Anderson and Daryl Jackson, and Brian Sockwell you met earlier with Hoyt Demas alongside of him. Tommy Rape and the champ, G.E. Chapman. John Crow spends a lot of time running late model stock cars, will be up against Jack Campata, Wayne Sharp, John Craig, Tommy Pistone, and Kevin Conway. The Doc Brewer, out of Hank's Heroes. As you take a look at the rest of the field, and G.E. Chapman, it looks like, was on that list twice. And Danny McNamara.
And you mentioned Hoyt Demas there. Hoyt picking up a sponsorship tonight from First Merchants Auto Leasing. They also sponsor Doc Brewer's Dash car.
And Hoyt is 3rd in the points. There is a tie for the top slot with G.E. and Tommy Rape. G.E., of course, the rating champ. There's Brian Sockwell's For You. And we are about set to go green. Chuck DeFaro will be right alongside of him.
Vandenbrink in the WSOC 103.7 car gets a good break and has a little advantage coming into one.
Nobody's really moving out deeper than that, though, aren't they? Look at these guys really mixing it up tonight in the Pro Division. Oh, now we're getting a little paint swapping in the middle. Oh, we got one around Daryl Jackson going around. Is everybody going to miss him? Yeah, but there's tires flying around out there and all sorts of stuff.
Somebody didn't miss him because there is a 3-wheeled car out there on the racetrack someplace.
And it's red, and it's going through turns 1 and 2 and off the racetrack.
That's pretty heavily damaged there, and I think he's having a hard time steering that car. That is the, is that John Crow?
That's John Crow.
Oh, tough break for John. John, of course, drives a late model car by the same number on the Hooters Cup Series, and out of it quickly here tonight.
There's G.E. Chapman in the middle of that, and it looks like the 04 Tommy Rape was involved in that with Daryl. Crow up along the wall there in the red car.
Just scraped the wheel right off, and then the 19 of Jeff Wright got into it. Probably got some front end damage there from collecting that wheel, and there's John Crow's wheel.
After this Pro Division, we'll wrap things up tonight with a Charger Division feature. And there is Doug Vandenbrink, and I think Mark is standing by with somebody from that Chargers class.
He's on the front row, on the inside row. He's the pole sitter for tonight's race, Kirk Hansen. And Kirk, you got married last week. Your wife Cindy's at home. You're supposed to be on your honeymoon. I think you're going to need a 3rd wife.
No, 2's where it stops. I'll tell you what, she's really been supportive of this race car, and Budget Auto Sales come on board to help out. We've had some bad luck, wrecked it bad last week. Prep Tech put it back together for us, and Rick Little Performance helped us out. So hopefully we'll get our luck turned around this week. Got a little bit more of left side weight, and that should help with help put us in victory lane.
How come your wife isn't here with you tonight?
She's working. Somebody's got to pay the bills.
I see. Now on your dash it says "think" with an exclamation point. Why?
I don't want to do anything stupid, and
you have to write that down.
It doesn't hurt at all for to be reminded of that.
All right, Kirk Hansen will be on the pole for the Charger feature. That's coming up right after this race. It's getting set to go back to green. Let's go back upstairs.
Crew Chief Challenge race next Tuesday night, as well as a Home Depot Challenge with Mike Wallace and Lake Speed. But Jeff Hammond, Andy Petrie,
Paul Andrews,
Billy Engel.
Good group.
It's a great group.
That'll be a lot of fun.
A lot of guys in that group spend a lot of time behind the wheel themselves. Petrie and Billy Engel both.
They'll be real anxious to strut their stuff out here.
A lot of fireworks, of course. A lot of fireworks here. Vandenbrink and the WSOC 103 car out in front. Rob Anderson right behind him. Sockwell and then Austin in the 0-2.
We've seen Sockwell and Austin win a lot of these races and lead a lot of laps here in the Pro Division. We'll see if they can fight their way up there, or if the guy that paints helmets for a living, Vandenbrink, can hang on and win this.
Get a little wide coming off the 4.
Rob Anderson hanging on to second. That's the 28 in the blue 4U. That is Brian Sockwell, the young guy that's trying to run the Goodies Dash, NASCAR Goodies Dash Series this year.
He's 8th in the points, Brian is, in this division. Here's a 32, and the 04 is Tommy Rape. That's G.E. Chapman right behind them. 32B is Greg Scholes, who sits 4th in the points. Battle for 7th. GE, of course, the current points leader in this division, and the 28 is taking over the lead. Rob Anderson out of Charlotte, your new leader in the Pro Division. Not for long, maybe. Look at this.
Vandenbrink sticks it down to the low side, gets up under Anderson, and drives away.
You know, this looks like it's a one-groove racetrack because everybody tries to run the bottom through the turns, but it really is not. It is a pretty good two-groove track. It's really a groove and a half, I guess, but because of these Legends cards, it becomes 2 grooves.
And, of course, Rob Anderson riding there in second. His regular day job is a hydraulic technician, whatever the heck that is.
I don't know, but I'm hoping I don't have to deal with it.
Sounds like it'd be expensive if you had to call one over to your house.
Yeah, yeah.
$65 to show up, $30 an hour. And he's being chased now by Brian Sockwell. Sockwell right there on his rear deck lid. That's a great battle for the second place spot.
Oh, hard on the brakes is Anderson. That's going to cost you. Sockwell capitalized a little nudge to send him a little farther off into that black abyss.
It's all he needed, just one little chink in the armor to get around him and go on by.
You know, that's the thing about racing these Legends cars is it's anything but a perfect form of racing, but you've got to be perfect behind the wheel to stay out front. You've got to be smooth. You can't slip anywhere. These guys will pounce all over you. In just about every other division of racing, you can slip a hair either way and, you know, save it and hold on to your position, but not here.
Well, the track's relatively so small, you just don't have that luxury. And there's Brian Sockwell and Rob Anderson and Vandenbrink here. The guy is a graphics designer as his profession. We talked about it, the fact that he paints a lot of the Winston Cup teams' helmets for them, the driver helmets with all those elaborate paint schemes and things of that nature. And he does that job and does some beautiful work.
Battle for 5th. As you take a quick look back up to the leaders.
Vandenbrink and Sockwell. They move to the inside of the 2 car of Ed Brown. Sockwell's going to look to the inside here.
He sure is. Oh, boy, he locked him up on the brakes, but he did a great job of getting back off so he didn't lose control.
You can tell when they go down the backstretch. Brian had an extra mirror mounted, extra rear view mirror mounted in that car. It's not standard equipment. You can see it there. A little something that he thinks gives him a little edge in traffic. Right now, he doesn't need that rear view mirror, though. He's got to be looking out the front windshield here as he chases after Vandenbrink.
Vandenbrink struggled a little bit this year. He's not exactly up to speed the way he would like to be. He has competed in the 2 races so far. He sits 22nd in points. Well, this will really move him up inside the top 15, I would think.
Sockwell's 8th in points. It would be a big jump for him as we're 3 races deep now into the 1996 Summer Legends Shootout Series. The WSOC car being chased hard by the 4U machine of Brian Sockwell.
It is a 10-race series every Tuesday night here on Sports South if you're enjoying your first one. Great racing as they get past the 19 of Jeff Wright, who came all the way from Elberton, Georgia to race with us tonight.
Brian had the opportunity to get low there. Vandenbrink left it open for him, but that lap car got in his way, and he just couldn't nose it down there enough to make the pass. He'll have one more shot here.
Well, lap traffic will come into play once again. Down into turn number 3. The 54 gets out of the way. George Potter does a nice job of moving over. Here come the leaders off of 4, and Doug Vandenbrink enthusiastically wins his first race of the 1996 Summer Legends Shootout Series.
He's a little excited.
Think so?
That's good to see.
Way to go, Doug. Happy to see a new face atop the podium. Done a nice job preparing the car. Has it really looking good this year, and I know that's just a kind of morale boost he needed as he moves on to the next round. Stay with us. We got one more to go. The third of our 4 Legends feature races is over with. Doug Vandenbrink getting the win in the hotly contested Pro feature, and it was really a great race. Brian Sockwell did a nice job of hanging in there. He will come home second, and Mark Garrow. Charger division, which is just rolling off. Brian Dobie, the other half of that dominating Dobie duo.
That was great alliteration, Ralph.
You like that?
Dominating Dobie duo. That's a triple.
Wow. It's even late in the evening, too, and I'm still coming up with that.
I'm so proud.
I know. Thank you. Brian Lee, Kurt Andrews, Justin Snow, and John Burwell. And if you haven't guessed by now, we just have a lot of fun with these deals. Rick Bass and John Chapman in row 10. Charles Guest, Ray Kelly, Todd Hall, and Steve, and Dan. Scott Smith and Richard Carter.
Richard starts shotgun. There's one of the Dobie boys. Guess who his favorite driver is? Dobie out of Burlington, North Carolina. It's not too far away from the Level Cross compound down there in Petty Land.
And they are huge, huge Petty fans.
Man, your pole sitter in a 24 on the inside there. Kirk Hansen, saw Mark Arrow talk with him a little bit ago. Odd looking paint scheme.
Now, one thing you won't hear us talking about here with the Charger division is point standings. They don't keep it.
And that's good because they need to concentrate working race to race and winning and not worried about points.
You win 3 of these, you're out of here. You're going on to one of the other divisions. Boy, everybody fanning out wide.
That looked like the front stretch of Pocono for a second.
There's some creative lines in that one. And no start.
Good plan because it may take him a while to re-cue all these guys back up in the order they're supposed to be in. As the flagman looks on, I think, in genuine disgust at that attempted start. That was strange looking there as they came down.
Yeah, Pocono was a good description of it, though. They go 4 or 5 wide in the Cup cars. Well, they were really spread them out there with the Legends machines as well.
Of course, now a lot of these people, for some of these drivers, this may be only their 3rd race in a Legends car. So you're going to have to factor all that into the performance level of these drivers. They line back up pretty good, though.
Still haven't seen one of the new Dodges, have you?
Don't think they're quite race ready yet, but I bet you we see one of the Dodge body styles before the end of the year on the Legends cars.
That's pretty rough, too. They ain't gonna wait around. We're racing.
It's late, let's go. Got to get to the barn.
Well, they all made it through turns 1 and 2, but not in the back straightaway. Ouch.
That's Brian Gandy who tags the wall pretty hard. That's one of
Pistone
Tiger Tom's Pistone posse cars there that collected the wall. Spent some time talking with Brian today. He was working on the setup of his car and didn't get to put it to much use tonight. So he's out on the first lap here. Getting a replay here and just got into it with the 32.
I think that's Roger Neal.
And
the white 32N out of Belmont.
Popped the wall. Doesn't look like there's as much damage on the front snout of that car as I thought there would be originally.
Hard to tell if Brian drifted up or if the 32 came down a little bit. One way or the other, they did get together. And that did send Brian into the wall.
Oh, that left front wheel caught the wall with a pretty good lick there, so they'll have to put a front spindle on that car before it goes racing again.
Yeah, they will. You can see some damage there. Well, they're going to get Brian off, and we will be racing here momentarily. One Dobie is already up in the semi-pro division because they didn't want to be racing against each other. This guy keeps racing this way. You'll have to join him.
Well, the pole sitter does a good job of protecting the inside there. Kirk Hansen out of Matthews, North Carolina, down on the inside. Out of that aquamarine car.
Chicken Man in the infield.
Not where he wanted to be.
No, and look, we got a new leader and a new second place car. Johnny Sossaman Jr. out of Midland, North Carolina is in that white and red 14. And he is all over Dobie.
He's going after Brian Dobie there. Sossaman tries to move up and around.
He's tapping him pretty good.
Sossaman has won a Legends race here in Charlotte before. Wasn't one of the summer shootout series. It was one of the preliminary races last October with the UAW GM 500. They get to run on pole day and on Saturday here in front of some huge crowds.
Boy, he's not. Was that a little hand signal out the window?
Could have been a little nonverbal communication.
Out of Dobie.
Dobie's doing a little mirror driving right now, trying to keep Sossaman back behind him.
Slower traffic going to get in the way. The 123 of Ton Van Wingerden.
Sossaman's done a little drag racing in his career, too. He manages to keep in a straight line here as he tracks down Brian Dobie.
Now it's the 29 of John Burwell, who gets a good up-close look. Tapped him pretty good there. That can make the difference. Got him.
That's textbook. That's how you do it.
Cut back inside him.
See if Dobie can make it stick.
Hell yeah, here we go. Force him to the outside as they stack him up back in 1 and 2. Oh, we got 3 cars spinning. That's probably going to bring out a yellow. You betcha.
And it will. Problems on the backstretch here. That's a shame because these two guys, Ralph, were putting on a great exhibition. That was fun. They were just slicing and dicing and really going after each other.
Chuck Ward meets the wall. Bobby Pence sits in the middle of the back straightaway. And we're going to step out, straighten it out, and come right back to it. So stay with us. So the Summer Legends Shootout Tour. The wreck and all developed down here in 1 and 2. And it just kind of carries on. Watch as everybody gets out on the straightaway. And here's where it really gets going.
That was a wreck that just kept evolving, initiated down in 1 and 2 and culminated in the middle of the backstretch.
Green, white checker is how we're going to go here.
That means Brian better get it hooked up in a hurry here, or Sossaman will track him down.
Well, look at Sossaman get on it in a hurry. He is right on it. Well, now Sossaman has been bumping a little bit. Let's see if he hammers him this time. White flag, 1 to go.
Well, he made this move.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Pushed him up out of the way.
Oh, and Dobie is losing all kinds of ground. He doesn't know what to do. Frustrated over that. Sossaman gets the win. Well,
Sossaman made that move twice. The second time he made it, paid off and got him a checkered flag.
Unbelievable finish, and Dobie stops. Even though he didn't finish in the top 3, you know he isn't excited about it. Next week, we'll be right back here to do it again. Don't forget the Crew Chief Challenge. That ought to be exciting. Billy Engel, Andy Petrie,
Jeff Hammond,
Paul Andrews. And Paul Andrews. Thank you very much. Whole group of guys coming out to have fun with us. The Home Depot Challenge with Lake Speed and Mike Wallace as well. For Mark Garrow, Doug Rice, and I'm Ralph Shaheen. Thanks to the good folks at RaceScan for providing our communications. And, of course, the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show. Round number 3 of the Summer Legends Shootout Series is in the books.